Have you ever ran in freezing cold, like 32-degree Fahrenheit temperature before, with snow on the ground and ice? My guess is you're probably answering no, and why would I?
No. Why would I?
Well, have you ever ran a 100-mile, 24-hour race before? Again, your answer is probably no, and why would I? Well, I trained for a thing called the Ragnar race, where I had to run 100 miles with a team over a 24-hour period. And to do that, I had to train in really cold weather. And to do that, I had to rewire the habits that I had, because prior to that moment, I was not really a runner, but I rewired my habits, my relationships with habits, and I figured out the #1 secret trick to increasing your good habits and decreasing your bad habits. And that's what I'm going to show you in this video. Take a look. So in 2016, I committed to running this thing called the Ragnar race. I got going where I was practicing running. I found out that I actually really enjoyed running, but I had to run more and more and more because the Ragnar race is 100 miles in a 24-hour period. I had to run on tired legs, meaning I'd run in the morning, run in the midday, and run in the evening. And I kept running and running and running. There were many, many, many days when I did not want to run because all I wanted to do was sleep some more, but I kept running. As these days went on, I noticed something that was interesting. I noticed that if I took my shoes, my running shoes, and put them right in front of the bed, and I went to bed with my running shorts, that as soon as I woke up, my chances of actually going for a run in the morning drastically increased. And then there were days where I accidentally forgot and I put the running shoes up on a top shelf where they belong. I didn't have my running shorts on. They were rolled up in a drawer. And if I did that, my chances of running that morning drastically decreased. From that experience, I learned that making habits happen for the better or decreasing habits that are bad is all about managing the friction that we have between us and that habit. To increase the chance of you doing a habit, we have to reduce the friction of that habit. To decrease the chances of engaging in a bad habit, we have to increase the friction between us and a habit. For example, I know this one's applicable to all of us out there. Let's talk about chocolate, okay? You have a bowl of chocolate sitting there on your desk. Did you know that according to the International Journal on Obesity, if that chocolate bowl within arm reach of you from where you're sitting, you will increase your number of pieces of chocolate eaten to 2.1 more pieces of chocolate eaten if it's just within arm's reach. That means to reduce the amount of chocolate, that's because the friction between us and the chocolate is so small that it's easy for us to do. So what do we have to do now? We have to increase the friction between us and the chocolate. Take that chocolate bowl, put it on another desk. Take that chocolate bowl, put it up top. Take that chocolate bowl, wrap it in duct tape so that you have to unwrap the duct tape before you eat a piece. Increase the friction between you and that action, and it will decrease the chance of you achieving that. Your brain makes up 1/50th the weight of your entire body, but it uses up 1/5 of all of the energy in your body on a daily basis. Meaning if it were a car driving down the street, it would be a tiny little car, but it would use a ton of gas. But you see, your brain is a supercomputer, and one of the strategies it does to reduce the amount of energy it uses is it tries to turn things into habits so that they become unconscious action. My guess for you is you probably put the same pant leg on every morning. My guess for you is you probably dry yourself off the same way after every shower. These kind of repeating habits are what help our brain reduce the amount of friction we have to doing something. So if we want to increase an action, we want to turn it into a habit, what we have to do is help reduce the friction between us and that action and do it repetitively. Some say it's 30 days, some say it's 60 days, some say it's 90. I've heard all the way up to 120. But if we do it on a repetitive basis, then we're more likely to turn it into a habit. If you want to also increase the chances of you doing that habit, another thing is called habit anchoring, where you take that habit you have and you anchor it with something else you're gonna do. Like for example, if you wanna read and you know you have to go to the bathroom multiple times a day, then commit that every time you go to the bathroom, you're gonna read one page of the book instead of scroll through social media. That way we're committing, we're anchoring one of our current habits, going to the bathroom, to one of our new habits, reading a book. In fact, though, this concept doesn't just work with us individually, it also works with your team. Your team is a bunch of individuals who have habits that make up the routines of the team. Charles Duhigg is a famous author of the book called The Power of Habits. In his book, he talks about how researchers have actually found in the best organizations that he studied, he found the best ones are aware of the habits and they increase the friction with the bad habits, decrease the friction of the good habits. And the worst agencies are the ones that are not aware of the habits that are going on, the practices, the routines that are going on with the people in their team. So it's not just about us and our own habits, it's also about you and your team and their habits. And now I want to give you the final and maybe most powerful tip on how to manage habits, and it has to do with gym membership. If you were to guess which week of the year is the busiest week for gyms in the United States, what week would you guess? If your answer was the first week of January, you would be with the majority. However, it's actually the second week of January that is the busiest week. I guess it's because it takes people a week to come back from vacation, to sign up for the gym, to order those Lululemon pants, because God forbid they don't look the best at the gym, but they go to the gym. And now, 1 month later, 30 days, we're in the second week of February. Strava, the fitness app, calls this the February cliff. What percentage of people do you think drop off, never to return to the gym again, that signed up in that second week of February? The answer? 80%. 80% of people who signed up drop off, never to return again. That is such a disheartening number. Us humans are horrible at keeping ourselves accountable. But let's keep going though. Let's keep going with this little query. Let's go all the way to the end of the year. What percentage of people do you think signed up at the beginning of the year, kept with it the entire year? The answer? 1.5. 1.5% of us who sign up, commit, and actually do it the entire year. That is so sad to think about. Us humans are horrible at keeping ourselves accountable, but Strava researched that 1.5 and they're like, why is it that that group's able to succeed, but 98.5 of the other people are not? What is the difference here? And they found out that 95% of those people did one thing, and this thing was so critical to their success. They didn't do it alone. They hired a coach, they got a fitness buddy, they joined a class, something where it wasn't just them trying to rely on their own self to get the thing done. So if you want to go fast, go alone, but your chances of failure are pretty high. But if you want to go far, go together and watch your success go through the roof. And so as we close out here, your 3 tips to massively changing the habits in your life. Number 1, manage the friction between you and that habit. Increase the friction for the bad habits, decrease the friction for the good habits. Number 2, habit anchor. Anchor your current habit to something new you want to start, just like the bathroom. And number 3, don't do it alone. Find someone to help you with this habit and commit to it. My name's Tom. I'm here to help you to engage your people. And if you love this video, subscribe and get access to all of our videos just like this.